This last week, we had the pleasure of watching General Conference. We got to see and hear the prophet, and we got to listen to other speakers, including Henry B. Eyring, Jeffrey R. Holland, and Dieter F. Uchtdorf. Elder Uchtdorf's talk was how God strengthens us through adversity and how God has something unimaginable for us. He shared a story on how the original saints were trying to make the Salt Lake City temple and laid the foundations of the temple, which were made out of sandstones, before they were run out of town. When they came back, they found that the sandstones, the original foundations, had cracked. What seemed like a huge trial was actually an immense blessing. If they had built the temple on that foundation, the temple would have collapsed, making an even greater hardship. So they removed the stones and put in an even stronger foundation made out of granite to keep the temple strong. The full moral of the story is to have a good foundation in God, so when the temptations and bad things come, we will be rooted in God. God has something unimaginable for us. I moved to this ward at the beginning of 7th grade. I went to Warm Springs Middle School for 6th and 7th grade, but because we moved close to Shavela Middle School, my parents had me go to that school for 8th grade. I did not want to go to that school and was immensely sad when I had to. All my friends went to Warm Springs and didn't want to leave I didn't want to leave my friends and start the year friendless. I thought that this was not what was best for me, but it was. I was diligent about reading my scriptures and saying my prayers, and I think that gave me the strength to get through that trial. The first few months were tough, but I made friends, and now I get to start high school with a lot of friends. You may think that what you need right now is really what you need, and that God isn't giving it to you. But He knows what you really need, and He has something amazing in store. Quote, "In a way, we are seeds, and for seeds to reach their potential, they must be buried before they can sprout." Close quote. That was a quote from Dieter F. Uchtdorf's talk last week. Do you think that this pandemic took God by surprise? No. He's doing this to test us, to test our foundations, to strengthen our testimonies, and root ourselves into the gospel. I know that things will get better. I know that we can strengthen our testimonies and be rooted into the gospel. I know that this church is true. I know that the prophet will lead and guide us through these hard times. I know that God has a bigger plan than we could ever imagine. And I say these things in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.